Oh boy, I feel so different from 3 days ago, from when I first made the first video. My thoughts, my feelings have calmed down a lot. A lot of it's got to do being able to express my emotions and not being interrupted, where I was just able to unscramble all these thoughts and feelings in my head. I like to thank the people that viewed my video, commented, and that meant so much to me that there's people out there that will watch something like that and connect and reach out. And that's so amazing. Thank you for that. I was able to talk to my partner about I'm not doing so well, and she took it very well. She comforted me a lot, and that helped me get through. So I'm very blessed to have someone where I can tell them how I really feel. Still, again, there's a lot of things I wasn't able to tell her because I was scared, but I didn't know how she would take it. But she helped me out a lot. And that got me thinking over the past couple of days about the saying, it ain't weak to speak. It's, in Australia, I see it everywhere, that men, it ain't weak to speak. Speak up, speak about your emotions. And I always thought that was very good, that, yeah, we need to have more things like that for men to show everyone that us speaking about our emotions, what we're going through, how we feel, what's inside our head, or just the world around us in a safe environment, we need that. It's very beneficial for us. But again, no one really talks about why men won't speak up, even though that the world's changing. Like, what are the reasons why? Even though it ain't weak to speak, it's been out, I've seen like past couple of years. Even so, men are not coming forward. But why? Why is it that it's taken me so long to stop speaking about my emotions and getting help? Why is it that a lot of other men are not coming forward? But we see this and we get happy that things are changing, but it's not. I'm not ready. That the people don't want to hear my problems. So I hope that in this video, that personally, some personal reasons that I didn't speak, and maybe that could correlate to other people, the other people out there that could watch this video and be like, you know what, that's why I never spoke about why I never went to see a psychologist. I didn't speak to a friend or a family member, and I just acted on an impulse that is forever lasting. So I guess let's get into why men don't speak. I guess one of the first reasons is stigma. Stigma around mental health for men is very bad. I've been told many times that if I am mentally ill, show any type of emotion, that I'm crazy, I'm weak, I'm not a man. That being a man is you need to be hard-hearted, like a rock. And to the extent that, in a way, is that I think we all need to be like a rock for people around us, but be able to show emotions. And I think the stigma comes from hundreds of years of men trying to be more dominant towards other men. And not only that, is how women see men as well, that women play a big part in men's mental health and how men treat each other. Because men, we view each other as, I guess, in a way, we are competing against each other for women and for the resources in this world. And if women want a man to be a partner with, to have kids with, and she expresses that for a long time, that men, we need to be hard, we can't show emotions, because showing emotions is a feminine trait, then that goes towards other men. Other men will say, well, it's gay to cry, or you're crazy, or you're not a man. So that's, I guess, a big stigma around it, that, you're not a man, or just a stigma around mental health in general, that if you're mentally ill, you're more likely to be a drug addict, homeless, don't know how to work or can't take care of themselves, which is far from the truth. Traditions. Being a man, you have to be a man. And the traditions say that you need to be a very strong man to look after your family, to work, to pay for everything, to be strong, be able to take care of the household, to look after your wife, to look after the kids. But how can you look after your kids if you're dead in the ground? Who's going to take care of your daughters? Who's going to raise them right to not be just a common street walker? Who's going to raise your son to be a strong man, to be a man where you can be proud of? You can't if you're in the ground or you're hanging somewhere, and that's what traditions do to a man. This traditional masculinity thing. I believe that men need to be masculine, but I think masculinity has warped in such a way where it has become so toxic, where it's affected men now, that we don't know what it means to be a man. To be a man is to suppress your emotions, but that's so far from the truth. Being a man is not suppressing your emotions. Being a man is being able to lead, take charge, while showing emotions and being healthy. But us as men, we have lost the capability to show emotions healthily because we have suppressed it for such a long time. So when we do show emotions, we just lose it. We lose control. We become physical because we don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to control it. And that leads into showing emotions as weakness. So many times I've heard from parents, like especially mothers, that don't cry, be a man, be a boy. Are you going to be a girl? Or from girls saying that, oh, I'm not interested in that bloke no more because he cried, he opened up. Do you know how hard it is for a man to open up towards a female? And then you just spit in his face that, then you say that, oh, I don't want to see you like that. I'm not interested in you no more because you cried, you started opening up, you felt safe around them. But then, you know what happens? You just become more and more isolated. And then later on, a good woman will come past and say, hey, what's wrong? And you can't trust them. And that's a cycle. Because society looks upon men that we need to be so strong, stiff, suppress it. We need to be dominant. And when you do show it, what happens as well? Police will come. You get looked upon. You can go to jail. And that's so wrong. Work as well. I've been told all my life that being a man, that I need to provide for my family, that I need to go out, work 12 hours, 14 hours a day to come home and put all my money to buy a house, to look after the kids, to look after my wife. Honestly, the thought of me being able to work where my wife has to work and look after my kids, I like that idea, but not to a point where I am stressing out, suicidal, just because I am not making enough money to support everything. And on top of that, being told that you're not a man if your wife makes more money than you. That is so wrong, completely wrong. You're not less of a man if your wife makes more money than you or if your partner makes more money than you. It doesn't matter who makes the most money. It's how you act. It's how you present yourself. If your wife makes more money than you, so be it. Not you do. You beat it in other ways. You go out and mow the lawn. You go out clean a car. That's how you beat that stigma and weakness of financial pressure of being a man. Just stop thinking that you're less of a man if your woman makes less than you. Just start from the case. You're lucky that you can say that she makes more than me because she's an engineer, she's a doctor. I found a smart woman. And who cares that if you only work at Macca's or work at a fast food place, but your woman's doing all this? Praise her for it. Keep her. Make her feel happy, because then she won't look at other men. Look at other men that is in the same field that's earning all this money, because she knows that even though that you don't make as much money as her or bring to the table, you're still just as man are going to be a good father to your kids, because it's what's inside that counts more. And that goes like financial pressures, that being told that I need to provide a house. In Australia's like one of the worst financial places to buy a house. It's ranked higher than Hong Kong, I think. Where I am, I live in a low economic area. $1.3 million is the average house for a 2 bedroom. $1.2 million. And the average person, we don't make enough money for that. The bank came out and said that each household needed to make, I think, 300 grand a year minimum just to afford an average house in Sydney. The cost of living is getting to men. Men are more likely to be homeless. Men are more likely to abuse drugs. In the court system as well, it's so against men that their house and belongings is more likely to go to men. And on top of that, Australia doesn't have a lot of places for men to go, rehabs or crisis refuges. Most of that is for women or young teenagers. But as soon as a boy turns 16 or 18, they'll be kicked down the street. And that is so wrong. That is why we start to see high suicide rates among teenagers. You might think to yourself that, oh, well, I just need to learn to deal with it. Deal with what? Stress, suicide, addiction? No. Speak up against it. Make it other people's problems. We need to make it the world's problems. If we speak up and tell everyone what is happening to us, they'll listen. Look what subgroups are doing now. Look at the LGBTQ. They have made themselves so loud that it's in everywhere. Why can't men be that loud about our mental illness? We shouldn't care what people think. We shouldn't look down at each other and think, shut up. No, we need to be loud and say, hey, I am suffering. I want to kill myself. I need help, and we will get it. I do not want to wish to burden anyone. Burden who? Your loved ones? They'll rather you burden them with your mental illness than winding up with you in the ground. They'll rather suffer with you than suffer after the fact that you did something wrong or you destroyed something. It's not a burden. If they truly love you, if you have truly friends or family members that really care, it's not a burden. If you have no one, there's places out there that will listen to you and really care about you. You're not alone anymore. We have many outlets. You're not alone, okay? Do not think that you're a burden to anyone. As the day that you think you're a burden to someone is the day that you lose hope, and you never lose hope. I'm too embarrassed. That is so true. Being a man, we are told to shut up, be quiet, that what are you, gay or something, or don't be a woman could you show emotions. Or when we cry, people laugh at us and we get embarrassed. Or that because when we do express emotions, we've been pent up for so long that when we do, we get angry. Everyone just looks at us and points at us. Look at that guy over there. He's just crazy. There's nothing embarrassing about expressing on how you feel. If women can do it and they're not embarrassed for crying or yelling in the street, then why should we be? Why is it so embarrassing that I felt so embarrassed to go to my partner and say, hey, I am struggling mentally? And I felt that for such a long time. And after speaking to her, man, I feel like I can just go to her for anything now. I don't want to admit that I need support. And that goes back to feeling embarrassed. Being a man, we feel like that we don't need support, that we should be able to do everything on our own. But as a kid, we need the support around us. We need our parents. We need school. And that's still as an adult or as a teenager that we need support around us. We need friends. We need society to come in and help us up. We need this support to say, hey, let me take some burden off of you. Let me take some things off your plate. And so you can focus on what really matters. So you can focus on fixing yourself, your mental illness, your addiction, what is really wrong. And let us carry together. We're friends in this. I don't want to appear weak. This, I believe, stems from no appearing weak towards the other sex. That we need to always be strong and never give up. And that looking weak is not very attractive towards females. I believe that is true, but true in the fact that a lot of women will feel that he's not a man if he expresses his emotions. Don't go with women. Never look at women. If a woman ever says to you that you're just, I'm not attracted with you anymore, shake the dust off your feet and move on to a person that will accept you and all your baggage of who you are, because we have to deal with them. It's not a two-way street. If a woman comes at you with her baggage and says, "Hey, these are all my past relationships. Here's a step kid. Here's my trauma from my past relationship. Here's all my mental illnesses," and if they cannot accept you for all your baggage, say screw her. Find another woman. Find a better woman and throw it in her face. That's what we need to do as men to fix our mental illness. I have no one to talk to. Men, it is so true that we feel like we are alone, that we have no one to talk to. Scroll through your phone and think, who can I call out of this list? I bet you a lot of men out there will feel like they can call no one. And this needs to change. We as men, as friends, need to say to our friend, "Hey, are you okay?" Or ring up your friends and be like, "Hey, do you want to talk?" Check in on your friends. Just reach out. We have to be in it together. But for the people out there that do want to speak out to someone, let me tell you, someone that did a couple of days ago, I felt so good. And these are the benefits that I have gotten so far, that all this pent-up emotions that I've felt since I was 16, that's nearly 10 years ago, that all these emotions that I felt towards me, I have felt a lot of it has gone. I felt the weight lifted off my shoulders, that I can carry more things now, that I've gained back my masculinity a lot, that I feel like more of a man speaking to the camera and to my partner about what's troubling me and being able to express my emotions in a safe environment. Now I feel like I can go out there and conquer the world again and work, because I know that if I ever become burdened again like that, I have a safe place to come to. And I thank you guys for that. Stress relief. Again, I've been feeling so stress-free. A lot of things, financial stress-free. I'm not scared about finances at the moment. Work, I'm not scared about that, or life, or just how my health will go. I felt that my bond between me and my partner has gotten stronger, because she now knows how her partner feels. I feel more connected with her, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. That since she's been able to see me in such a vulnerable state, and that she didn't reject me, I feel like we're in a better place than what we have ever been. The voices in my head, the negative thoughts, they have been so quiet right now, where I've been able to the past couple of days just drive without music on, or just sit there peacefully and not have to hear self-hatred like, "You're such an asshole, you're a piece of shit, you're not worth anything." I haven't heard them thoughts in a couple of days, and it's been so good. I've been able to unravel my mind. I think a lot of men will understand this, that our mind can get very jumbled up, that just so many things become very twisted and crooked, and when we do express emotions, we don't know how to control it. We speak very fast and rapidly. And I think a big thing is a lot of people shut us down, and that's what stops us. And the fact that I was able to just express everything without being stopped, I feel like my mind has become so unraveled, and that when I have spoken about my emotions again, it's been so clear and concise. And that the fact that I feel less alone. I feel less alone now, that the people have reached out to me in the comment section. My partner has reached out to me. Yeah, that I feel like there is a small light, dimmer light in this black chasm of my mind that I'm walking slowly towards, and it's going to be a journey. There are many things that need to be change in Australia, not just in Australia, but around the world, for men's mental health. But again, for anyone that who ends up watching this, I'd like to thank you. Hopefully you get someone out of it, and hopefully this gets someone to talk, reach out to someone. That's all that I hope. And I hope you have a good night, morning, afternoon, whenever you watch this. God bless you, and take care of yourself.